Welcome back to English class. My name is Songwichet. I am a teacher of English at NGS Preah Sisowath. Today's session, in this video, we have one grammar lesson, reported speech from Unit 11, telling it how it is on page 104-46. Without further ado, let's look at the learning objective. So by the end of the class, hopefully you all will be better able to identify verbs used in reported speech properly. Second of all, hopefully you all will be better able to identify ways in using reported speech appropriately. Last but not least, hopefully you all will be better able to produce reported speech and thought with peers accurately. So now let's look at the first activity. There are two pictures, and this picture contains the conversation. As you can see from the first picture, Tom, he say, I'm feeling ill. And here is another one. We have, where's Tom? And he said he was feeling ill. What I want you to do now is that I will give you 30 seconds and find out which one is the reported speech or reported statement and why do we use it here. Once again, find the reported speech and find out or what reason why we use reported speech. You still have 15 more seconds. Five last seconds. Alright, so based on this conversation, we can see that the reported speech that we have here is he said he was feeling ill, and the reason why do we use reported speech? Because this guy, he want to report Tom's speech. So what is Tom's speech? I'm feeling ill. So we can say that reported speech is used to report what another person has said, but not using the speaker exact word, meaning that we use someone's speech but we don't use the exact word from someone's speech. Alright, and the structure is a little different depending upon whether we want to transform a statement, question, or request. Based on this conversation, we have the statement which is about I'm feeling ill, and the reported speech is different from the Tom's speech, which is I'm feeling ill too, he was feeling ill. Thank you. Next, the next activity, this is we have one statement. My favorite film is on TV tonight. I love comedies. So what I want you to do is you have 30 seconds, and how do you change from these two statements? All these two statements are in present simple with verb to be, and another one is present simple with the word does. And find out how do we change the reported speech from the present simple into the reported speech. We have two statements. How do we report the speech here? My favorite film is on TV tonight, and another one is I love comedy. So let's find out the answer all together since the time is up. So the present simple, when we want to change it, when we want to report the present simple into reported speech, we need to use it into past simple. That is why the reported speech here is Kamala said her favorite film was on TV that night, and she said that she loved the movie. So the first one, let's start from the 10. We change from present simple into past simple, and something, it can be place and time. As you can see, we have tonight into that night, and another one is she said that. So which means we try to report someone's speech which is from Camila Tabello. Another one, we have past simple. I saw the film last week, and another 30 seconds. Let's find out how do you report his speech here. Here is the structure of the form from past simple. 15 last second. As you can see at the moment, we have a change in tense, times, and place sometime as well. So we can report the past speech here into the past perfect. Once again, he said he had seen the film the week before. So we change from last week into the week before. It is about a change in place. And the 10, from past simple, I saw the film last week into I had seen the film. So from past simple into the past perfect. You need to be careful as well in reporting the speech. There's no quotation mark. Number 2, verb tense, pronouns, time and place word may change as well because the time and the place and the speaker may be different. Example, at the moment, I talked to you yesterday and today you just report my speech. So which means that you use past simple and the reported speech, it would be past perfect as well. And another one, reporting verbs. You need to be careful with reporting verbs. If you use it in present verb, so there's no change in tense, but you use it in past tense, meaning that we also change the tense in the reported speech as well. Like the example earlier, from past simple, we change the tense into the past perfect. Alright, let's look at this example. The first one, the first two statements, Peter said, I haven't done my homework. So when I want to report the speech from Peter, I may say, Peter said he hadn't done his homework. So this is from present perfect into the past perfect. And another one, Peter says, I haven't done my homework. This time I report it this way. Peter says he hasn't done any homework, which means that there's no change in tense, but this one we have the change in verb tense. Once again, this is from present perfect into past perfect, and there's no change in tense because I use it with in the present verb. Okay, so at the moment we look at the change, the verb tense, which means that we change the verb tense. So now let's see it all together. So the first one, I am going. So when you want to use report, I am going here, we change from present continuous into past continuous. So it becomes, he said he was going. And another one, when you use it in present tense, like say, which means that we don't change any tense. That is why I come from Spain. She says, she comes from Spain. So say here is in the present tense and said it is in the past tense. Next, we're gonna talk about say and tell. As you can see in this example, Bae Susie said she was going. Sin section told me she was tired. So as you can see here, we have said and told. Alright, so based on the example, we can say that when we use say in report or indirect in reported speech, we don't use it with indirect object. As you can see here, Susie said she, so there's no indirect object, and whereas tell, we use it with direct object. So let's find out what is our direct object, which is tell. That is why Sean told me, so me here it is the indirect object. Okay, so once again, the relative pronoun that can be used to introduce the reported sentence as well. Like, she told me that she had finished work a bit early. He said that he was having a party next week, and the teacher told us that our test had good result, which is about the reported sentence. So report means to talk about someone's speech. And the next one, here is the box that contains about reporting verb, which means that some verb, when we use it in reported speech, we need to be careful in how we use the verb in reported speech as well. Let's start with the first box. We have verb plus infinitive. So when you use with offer, you may say they offer me to lend some money. And the second box, we use verb plus that plus clause like complain, suspect, suggest, or agree. As you can see example, he agreed that. So we have verb plus that plus clause. So clause here, it would be best to stop trying. And the last one, verb plus object plus infinitive. Example, they asked me to teach them English. So here we have the reporting verb, which is ask, and the object is me. And after the object, we have infinitive, to teach them English. Another form, we have verb plus ing. As you can see, we have suggest. Example, Martha suggested going to the movie. So we have reported verb, and going is the form after suggest. We need to use it in ing. And the last one, verb plus preposition plus ing. As you can see, example, he accused me of breaking the vase. So accuse, the indirect object me plus preposition of. After preposition, we use verb ing. That is why we use breaking the vase. The next one, when we want to talk about imperative as well, when we talk about imperative and when we want to change it into reported speech, we need to put it into an infinitive. So now let's look at how do we use it. In order to use reported speech, as I said earlier, in order to use imperative into reported speech, you need to change it into the infinitive by using the verb tell, order, ask, or request based on the usage as well. So let's start with the first one, go away. So go away, it is the command. So command, so I ask you please go away. So I can report this go away into he told me to go away. That is why he told me it is indirect object, and after indirect object we use to go since it is the command or imperative. So the first one we can say it is reported command, and the second one I'm going. So when we change it from imperative to reported speech, we can put it into the infinitive. That is why he told me that he was going. So it is the reported statement. And another one, what do you live for or willing? This time it is the question, so which means that it is the reported question. She asked me what I did for a living. And the last one, don't be afraid. So don't be afraid here, it is the negative comment. That is why he told me not to be afraid. So even in imperative, when you want to report the imperative, you may put it into an infinitive by using the verb in the usage of imperative as well. If it is the reported question, or if it is the command, you may use the command ways like ask, tell, order, and request. Thank you. And the next one, let's talk about question. As you know that we have two kinds of question, yes, no, and WA question. Let's start with yes or no question. For the form in reported speech, when you have the question, you need to use if or whether plus subject plus verb. Look at the first question. Is it raining? So you may say, the old lady asked if it is raining. So if it is raining here, it is the form of the reported speech in question. The second one, do you have any stamps? I asked them if whether they had any stamp. And the next one, can I borrow your pants? He asked her if he could borrow her pen. So if you look at the three statement or the three question, the first one we change from is to was, and it is from present simple into past simple verb to be. And the second one, do you have, we change it to they had. And the last one, can I borrow, to he could borrow. So can in the present, and the past of can is could. The next one, it is about WA question. The same thing, from WA question, you need to use WA word in the beginning, and then plus verb plus, plus subject plus verb. Example, where are you going? And then he asked where she was going. So we have where she was going, it is the reported speech in the question. And then, when do you get up in the morning? I asked him when he got up in the mornings. Alright, so here let's see how do we change the verb from the present, which means direct speech, into reported speech. Let's start from present simple based on the example that we have earlier as well. So from present simple we change it into past simple, and present continuous into past continuous. Past simple or present perfect, we change both tense into past perfect, and future will or shall, we need to use it in conditional. So you may say would and should. The next one, we have modal verb. So modal verb can into could, may into might into might itself, could as well. Will or shall, would and should at the moment, and would as well, should and should as well. Ought to, still ought to, but must. If you use it in possibility or regulation, you need to put it the same. But if you put it, if you use it in an obligation or necessary, from must to had to. This is about modal verb from direct speech into reported speech. And the next one, let's talk about personal pronoun. you need to have the change in personal pronoun as well. So if you look at direct speech, I, reported speech is he or she, we into they, you into he, she, him or her, me to him or her, us into them, place like here to there. And demonstrative pronoun, we have this to that, this to those, and possessive, we have direct speech my into reported speech his or her, our to their, your, his, her, or mine. And next one we have the time. Example, in direct speech, now, then, or at that time, today, that day, or on that day, yesterday, the day before or the previous day, tomorrow, the next or the following day, this week, that week, last year, the year before, the previous year, an hour ago, an hour before, next summer, the following summer. Okay, so these are some the changes, let's say how we change the tense of verb, the change of place, as well as personal pronoun and possessive adjective as well. And without further ado, to check on your understanding, what I want you to do is to report the following statement or sentences into reported speech. You have 30 seconds. We have number 1 to number 5, and I already give you some clue as well. What you need to do is to identify the tense as well as the place or the people in the direct speech, and you need to put it into reported speech correctly. You have 10 more seconds. There are 5 statements. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And each statement contains the clue already. So if you look at number 1, someone is following me. So it is about present continuous. So at the moment, from present continuous in direct speech, reported speech, it would be in the past continuous. Number 2, I will here. So from will to would. Sorry for breaking. So this is the this is how we use a reporting verb. So you may say he apologized. And the next one, why don't we? So this is the negative statement, and it's in present simple. And the next one, I'll pick you up at 5. So this is with infinitive as well. So let's see whether you have correct answer or not. Let's start number 1. I said someone was following me. Number 2, the teacher told me she would write, since it is will, we change from will to would. And he apologized for breaking. Of course, apologize plus preposition, after preposition verb ing, right? And number 4, John suggested to go or suggested going to a disco. And the last one, number 5, Peter promised me he would pick me up at 5. We still have one more practice. Let's do your best this time. The same thing. Report the following question. This time at the moment, statement, positive and negative. And this time, report the question. Do your best. You still have 30 seconds. There are 5 statements, number 1 to number 5. And each statement, I also give you some prompt or clues in the answer as well. So use it into reported speech correctly. Last second. So first of all, before we start checking the answer, let's briefly talk about the structure of the question. So you use with if, whether, subject plus verb. If you had used it with WH question like number 2, you need to use WH question first and then plus subject plus verb. So now let's check the answer. So number 1, he asked me whether or if I had got I plus subject plus verb all my luggage. And number 2, Peter wanted to know where. So where here, Jim, subject, and had found from present perfect into the past perfect. And number 3, she asked if or whether there was. So there is to there was in the past. And number 4, he asked what his or her and address. And the last one, John inquire what time it would start. So from will to would. Alright, you did good job. And here come to the end of our lesson today, which is about reported speech, and I only wrap up a little bit talking about how we change the tense in direct into reported speech. So once again, present simple into past simple, present continuous into past continuous, present perfect into past perfect, present perfect continuous into past perfect continuous, simple, present past simple into past perfect, future into conditional like would or should, and the last one conditional, of course. We change it with will to would, should, shall to should as well. Okay, so this is the end of our lesson today. Hopefully you enjoy the session and you gain ideas to do the worksheet as well, and you can take note for any question. So this is the end. Thank you, Jim Hibley.